Hey guys, it's me Sujoy over here. So I'm back with another video. So on this video, I'm going to be talking about why you should not rush for marriage here in Vietnam. Um, it's a common problem over here that many expats who come over here to Vietnam. They find a Vietnamese girl, and they rush for marriage, and like maybe after 2 months, 2 3 months, he decides to get married with the Vietnamese girl, and then they start having a lot of problems in their marriage life. So I just wanted to make this video for those of you who are new to my channel. My name is Sujoy. The name of my channel is called as Sujoy in Vietnam, and I've been living over here for 5 years now. And so I was an English teacher here in Vietnam for 3.5 years, and then I started doing my digital marketing business, and I'm also a full-time YouTuber. So let's just get back to this. Let me just adjust the focus. Okay. Yeah, so let me just get back to this point over here, is that why you should not rush for marriage here in Vietnam. I mean, definitely most Vietnamese girls, they're very beautiful and they're very stunning. They are very caring. But you need to take your time. I mean, I've gone through couple of forum posts here, and it's kind of common to see that many expats who come over here, they get very serious with the Vietnamese girl, and then he decides to get married to her, and then the problem starts after the marriage. Like maybe she's not compatible, or maybe there is a very big age gap, and the financial transactions and everything. So you got to be a bit wary of that. But don't get me wrong. I mean, I have also seen, I've also heard about, many expats, who are having a very successful, long-lasting marriage, with their, and having children, having a successful Vietnamese marriage life, and these women, they're not very, they're not like hotties, or they're not like models, but they're kind of very, they're simple looking women, and and I had a, I mean, I had an expat guy. He has got two kids here in Saigon, and he lives in Go Bap district. And but his wife, he invited me to his home last year. I went there. So he's very happily married, but and his wife, she's not very beautiful, and she kind of looks a bit ugly, but he's happily married. I mean, it doesn't have to be that you have to go for a hottie, to have a long lasting, successful marriage. The problem, what I see, is that most of the expats over here, let's talk about online dating. They try to only look for Vietnamese women, who are like hotties, or who are like models and all those kind of things. But that's really not exactly the right approach. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, okay, if she's like a 10 plus 10, you guys, and once you start dating her, then she's going to make the perfect wife. Well, it's not always that case, and always you have to remember that you got to take your time to really, you got to take your time to really understand your partner. I would ideally say that spend a year with her, see how it goes. I mean, making a decision after 6 months and saying that, okay, I'm going to get married to her is not the right way to go about it. And especially if you feel that she's using you like an ATM machine, if you feel that it's just like a transactional relationship, I think these are red flags. Also, a very important thing to note is that you have to understand that if her family members will accept you or not. I mean, there's no point of what do you say that in English? Beating around the bush, yeah, beating around the bush. Like having a Vietnamese wife and knowing that her family members don't get along well with you. Her brothers and sisters, they despise you. That is, I would say, that is a very sad marriage. And provided if she doesn't understand, because most of the Vietnamese women over here, for them, family comes first. So no matter how much money you spend on her, or how much of comfort you provide her, so for her, family is the utmost and the highest priority. So you have to ensure that her family members accept you properly. I mean, these are like, if you see some red flags that like her family members, if they don't like you, or if she's coming from a very poor family, and her family members are always asking for money and all those kind of things, you got to be mindful of that, because like, you're an expat, and the last thing you want is burning out your finances, drying up your ATM and just giving all the money to her. Because like I said, Vietnamese women are very caring, they're very affectionate, but there are many women out here in Vietnam, they know how to play the game. They can really, they can emotionally blackmail you. They can pretend they're crying, and like, oh, my family's got a lot of problems, it's taken a lot of loans, or I need this, I don't have money to buy. But you check her phone, and you see that, I mean, it's happened, like, they're like class act, like they got the money and everything, but they'll pretend like, shit, like it's the end of the world for them. So yeah, you got to be a bit careful. It shouldn't be like a transactional relationship. So you got to spend some good amount of time with her, like spend a year, understand her. I mean, ideally you should date her for 2 years. If everything goes well, then you can tie the knot. Because the last thing you want is getting married to the wrong Vietnamese woman, and she's just locking you up at home, and she's mistreating you, and she's just using you like an ATM machine, and her family members her family members are treating you like shit. So yeah, you got to be a bit mindful about that. So take your time. Make sure it's not like a financial transactional relationship. It's a bit noisy. There's some kids playing outside. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't always have to be like a 10+10 girl, which you see. I mean, there are also successful Vietnamese marriages where the Vietnamese wife, she looks very simple, or she looks like she looks like a 5 out of 10 or something like that. But they're happily married for so many years. They got kids and everything. So Vietnamese women, they have their different priorities. Like different Vietnamese women, they have their different priorities and goals. Like if you're going to be hooking up with a Vietnamese girl, and if she's very ambitious, and that's cool. But if you really want to marry her, she also has to understand that if she's willing to settle down with you, if she wants to have kids with you. But if she's just going to be like, oh, I got a lot of ambitions, I want to make a lot of money, this and all that, and she's not also giving much of importance to you in her life, you got to be a bit mindful about that. There are also many Vietnamese women, who also want to have kids, and who want to settle down, and want to have a family. So it depends. I'm not generalizing all Vietnamese women, but you got to take your time. And I mean, ideally speaking, you got to be dating her for a year, and then you can make a decision. I think it's very stupid, if you're dating someone for a month or two, and then thinking, okay, I'm going to marry her, and also red flags that her family members are not accepting you, and she's using you like a financial transactional is going like a financial transactional business, or she's not there, she's not supporting you, or she's not by your side when you're having the hard times, when you're going through some hard times. So you got to be a bit mindful about that. But overall, overall, Vietnamese women, they make very good life partners. They're very caring, but there are also bad apples out there. I mean, there are also Vietnamese girls, who are just looking for gold diggers, or just like a very rich expat boyfriend to marry, or they have some different agendas. But yeah, there are also some Vietnamese women, who can manipulate, foreigners, expats, who can blackmail them emotionally, doing all those crocodile tears, and like I've heard about these. I mean, from my past experience, I've had these kind of experiences. But just take your time, don't rush. And family is important. You got to understand if your family accepts you or not. Spend a good amount of considerable time with her family. Try to see, if they are getting along well with you, her brothers and sisters, her mother, her father, if he's alive or not. But and also, her friend circle, and how she's with you. You know, is she really a realistic person, or she's just expecting a lot of things from you, or does she have a lot of is she looking to really settle down with you, or she's just trying to visualize you, like you got a lot of money, and then she may start giving you cold treatments if you don't provide her like a kind of financial, the money stuff, like I need a phone, or for my family. So yeah, you got to be a bit mindful of that, because it's very common over here for Vietnamese families to take loans from loan sharks. But you should not be landing up with that problem. That burden should not come upon you, because you're an expat. At the end of the day, you should make sure that you got your reserve money to exit anytime if you're going through some bad storm in that relationship. Yeah, what else I wanted to say? Yeah, that's all about it. Take your time. Get to know the person. Make sure that you're dating someone who's committed. I mean, don't go after some player, or don't go after someone who just it has got a lot of high expectations and all those kind of things. And it doesn't have to be a hottie all the time. It doesn't have to be a 10 plus 10. So I mean, they're simple looking Vietnamese women, who are happily married with foreigners. You can also try to go for a Vietnamese girl, who's from the countryside, because Vietnamese women who are from the countryside usually like to settle down. They want to have kids. They want to have a long-lasting relationship. So yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. And if you're traveling around in Southeast Asia, and you want to start a successful passive income business, make sure to check the link down in the description below. It's an exclusive access to a free webinar invite, which I highly recommend for you guys to sign up. So with that being said, you guys have a great weekend. This was me, Sujoy. Peace out.